everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria Montefusco and I'm a lover of all things when it comes to makeup, beauty, and fragrance. And today I want to talk about a video that I made last year. So last year I talked about the brands that I wanted to try in 2021. And I was thinking, how many of those brands did I actually try? So I went back, watched that video, cringed a little bit, and I pulled out the products from the brands I did try in 2021, and I'm going to talk about the reasons why I didn't try some of the brands that I had on that list. So if you're interested in hearing about what I actually tried in 2021, then please keep on watching. All right, so I'm actually going to go in order that I did in that same video. So if you want to watch that video first and then watch this one, please do, and then let me know what you think of how much I progressed in the past year. Crazy. So first, let's talk about Cleopatra Cosmetics. I mentioned in my video last year that I had tried Cleona's duochrome eyeshadows, but I want to try their multi-chromes. And then I believe I said I placed a pre-order before the end of 2020, and that pre-order came in, and here are my Cleopatra multi-chrome singles that I own. So I've done a video swatching all of these and talking about them, so if you want to see that, just search on my channel like my name and then Cleopatra, and you should be able to find this. But I really do enjoy these multi-chromes. I think they're really pretty. I think Cleopatra, they're worth the hype. The wait time isn't the best, but that's expected for a small, independently owned business. Do I reach for these as much as I thought I would or as much as I should? No, I don't, and that kind of breaks my heart. But there are a few shades in here that I do reach for pretty often. I just don't reach for singles as much as I should. I find that I'm much more of a palette girl, and as much as I want to be a single eyeshadow girl, I'm not really. Sometimes I'll be using a palette where there's a lot of mattes in there that I enjoy, but not so much the shimmers, and then I'll reach for my single shadow palettes like this one. But I don't use these nearly as much as I should, but I do enjoy them. I did try Cleopatra multi-chromes, so 2020 Victoria can be proud of me for that one. So another brand I said I wanted to try was DaVinci Cosmetics, in particular their eyeshadow singles, like their duochrome kind of singles. And I'm happy to say, again, I did try DaVinci in 2021. So I have this palette full of singles. And the top row, there's 5 shadows in the top row. Those are all DaVinci shadows. So again, I have a video on these if you want to see swatches, hear my thoughts, blah, 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 all of that. But I really, really do enjoy these. I think they're really great. In particular, some of my favorites include Messier, which is this one. It's like a blue, purpley kind of duochrome. I also really enjoy Mystic Moon Pie, and this one's absolutely beautiful. This is Tucana. I'm not sure if you can see this. My fingers might be in the way. Kind of slippery. And then if you want the best silver ever, DaVinci has it. Uh-oh. And that is called Moonlit, and it is the best silver I've ever tried in my entire life. So DaVinci does have really phenomenal eyeshadows. I'm really glad I tried the brand. Again, do I use my singles as much as I should? No. But I did try DaVinci in 2021. I'm glad I did. If they release any really interesting singles, anything that really catches my eye, I'll probably try them. So I like the brand. So next up is a brand I did not try in 2021, and this is Shine by SD Cosmetics. I believe they're based in Canada. I just didn't try them this year because, to be frank, none of their releases really caught my eye. I've heard some iffy things about their customer service as well, like on Reddit and stuff. So again, that made me a little bit hesitant to buy from the brand, but it didn't really make or break my decision. It's just none of their singles really seem special to me compared to what I already have in my collection, or compared to brands that I already know and love, like Cleopatra, like Terra Moons, like DaVinci, like JD Glow, So for that reason, I just haven't bought anything from Shine by SD. I don't really see myself purchasing anything from Shine by SD. So I'd rather stick to indie brands that I personally know and love, or new and upcoming indie brands. So for that reason, I just didn't try the brand. Nothing of theirs screamed out to me as like, oh my goodness, I need to try this. Another brand I didn't try in 2021, this is Lethal Cosmetics. They're based in Europe. I think they're maybe German, if I'm not mistaken. So Lethal Cosmetics is known for like their bright, colorful eyeshadow palettes. They actually released, I believe, their first collab this year with Teresa is Dead. That palette was pretty cool. They have other palettes of theirs that I've looked at and I'm like, should I get it? I don't know. The thing that really makes me not buy from Lethal is the shipping costs. So since they're from Europe, the shipping cost is pretty darn high, which, you know, as an American, I should be thankful that most of the time shipping cost isn't really an issue for people, you know, that live in this country. But for Lethal Cosmetics, shipping cost is very high. So that's really been a main influence in my decision. Also, none of their color stories are like amazing to me. Like some of them are really nice, but none of them really warrant the weight, the shipping cost, all of that. And then also, I've heard Lethal has really amazing mattes, but their metallics are a little bit not the best. And I just don't want to buy a palette knowing that I may not like the metallics, you know? So for all of those reasons, I haven't purchased from Lethal. They're not like off of my list. I would still love to try them someday. But for now, I just haven't tried them, but I'll certainly keep an eye on their Instagram to see if they release anything that really catches my eye. Next up, Menagerie Cosmetics. I did try Menagerie at the end of 2021, and this is Menagerie's Indigo Ink palette. So overall, I'm a little bit disappointed with Menagerie. These mattes stain like a mofo. They stain so bad. And that makes me not want to use this palette. Some of the like dark metallics, like Giant Pacific, that like really dark blue metallic, that stains too. Basically, the blues in here will stain your eyes like crazy. So that makes me not reach for this. I think the metallics are a nice formula. They're not my favorite metallic formula that I've ever tried, but they're nice. The mattes are a little bit lacking. They're not exactly what I like. They're just a little bit, I don't know, like the blues stain a lot. The like reds and yellows and all of that, like they're fine, but I'm just not like blown away by their blending, by how much pigment there is. So overall, I'm glad I tried Menagerie because I would have always wondered what I'm missing out on, but I don't think I'll purchase from the brand again just because I really just don't reach for this palette because of the staining, because of the formulas. They're just not the best. Next up, let's talk about Collidos. I did try Collidos in 2021. So the first thing I tried was the Club Nebula palette. This was a collab with Angelica Nikovis here on YouTube. This was limited edition, so it's no longer available. But as I said in my last video, this is one of my favorite palettes of 2021. Love this color story. I think the formulas are really great, especially those metallics. They're really, really nice and pleasant to work with, very shiny, very sparkly, just very beautiful. And I love bright colors, and I think this color story is really fun. And to me, like I can make looks that are very like blue-green focused, very purple-blue focused, or very like red-orange focused, or I can mix and match the colors, and it's just a lot of fun. So I really do enjoy this palette. I do wish the packaging was a little bit less bulky, but I'm really glad I tried Collidos, and I will definitely purchase more eyeshadows from them in the future if they release color stories I enjoy. Also from Collidos, I tried one of their Space Age highlighters. This is number 3, Ryder. I don't know if this is available anymore. It might not be. I know they've discontinued some of their highlighters, but this is just a really beautiful, like champagne-y highlighter. I love this formula. This is a phenomenal powder highlighter. This is one of the less crazy shades that they have. It's just like a beautiful champagne-y, like slightly golden color. It's really great for pale skin tone. So if you want a champagne-y highlighter, but you're worried about having a dark streak on your cheek, this won't give you that, at least if you're my skin tone. So I think this is a really great formula, very shiny, lasts on the skin, beautiful, not chunky, not sparkly, all of that stuff that I personally don't really like in highlighters. So this is beautiful. I would, again, purchase more of them if they have colors that I like. So Ryder, great formula. Great highlighter. Next is something I tried, but I decluttered because I didn't really like it, and these are Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows. So I used to own the Walk of No Shame quad, which is like berries, like pinky mauves, that kind of thing. It's fine. I ended up giving it to my mom just because I feel like the overall, not quite matte, but not quite like metallic-y formula of Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows. Satins, that's what they are, they're satins. Really flatters more mature eyes, and it's just not something I'm really looking for in eyeshadows. Like, there wasn't an eyeshadow in there that provided the overall like sparkly, beautiful pop that I'm looking for. So for that reason, I just wasn't really impressed. And I have a Chanel quad that has a similar color story, except it's like a little bit brighter and more fun. And I prefer that one over the Charlotte Tilbury. So I ended up decluttering the Charlotte Tilbury. If she ever releases the Fire Rose quad again, which came out last year for holiday, or a quad like the Fire Rose, like in formula, I would buy it because everybody loves that, and I really regret not buying the Fire Rose. But for like her normal quads, they're fine. I'm just not in love with it, and I didn't find myself reaching for it, so I ended up giving it to my mom. The next brand I want to talk about is BK Beauty. So I said I wanted to try their brushes, like their face brushes, their eyeshadow brushes. I didn't buy anything from BK Beauty this year, simply because I have a lot of brushes. I love my Refer brushes for eyeshadow and face. I love my Blend Bunny eyeshadow brushes. I think they're really good. I love my Nabla eyeshadow brushes. And then I just have like a bunch of miscellaneous brushes that I've collected over the years for my face as well. So overall, I am good on brushes. I don't need brushes. So I just haven't really found the desire to purchase from BK Beauty. Again, maybe in the future I'll purchase from BK Beauty, but for now, I'm good on brushes, so I haven't purchased any of their brushes. So next up, I want to talk about Vive Muse. I spoke about their eyeshadow palette that they released, that neutral one that they released last year, as well as like their lipsticks and their lip liners. So I did not try that eyeshadow palette, just didn't really, I don't know, get the motivation to. It's a neutral palette, and I like neutrals, but it didn't like wow me enough that I wanted to purchase it. But I did try their lipstick and lip liner. So I have the lipstick in the shade 90s. It's like a very cool tone neutral. And then I have the lip liner in the shade Velvet Sands, which again is like a cooler toned neutral shade. This is fine. It's a matte formula. It's creamy, it's pigmented, it feels nice. It's not super drying, but the shade, and this might be my fault, but the shade is so cool toned that I feel like it washes me out a little bit, especially since I have more yellow tones to my skin. So I'm not really a fan of the shade of this lipstick, so I don't really wear it that much. It's nice though. I don't think I'd purchase more of them. There's other lipstick and lip gloss and lip product formulas I enjoy more, but it's fine. It's okay. But this didn't make me want to purchase anything else from Vive Muse, so these are the only two products I own. So next up, Natasha Denona. So I mentioned last year that I really wanted to try Natasha Denona, and I did. So I tried a bunch of things from Natasha Denona. I tried I think I tried their foundation in 2021, which is okay. I don't love it, I don't hate it. I also tried the bronze palette in 2021, which I talked about in my previous video. I also tried the Mini Glam, which I really enjoy, phenomenal palette. And I tried the Zendo palette, which is fine, but I don't love it. There's some formulas in here, there's some shades in here that aren't as good as like the bronze palette, for example. But I do like the color story, so I am keeping this for now. But the bronze palette was definitely one of my favorites of this year, of 2021. I think it's a really great warm tone neutral palette. I do like Natasha Denona. Is her like formula as good as Pat McGrath's? In my opinion, no. But I do like her eyeshadows, and if she releases color stories that I like, I'll purchase them. But for now, I'm perfectly happy with my 2 mid-size Natasha Denona palettes and my 1 mini. But I did try Natasha Denona, plenty of Natasha Denona this year. So the next brand I want to talk about is Be Perfect Cosmetics. They're known for their Carnival palettes, which are these huge palettes with Stacey Marie MUA. They released a new one this year, the Antidote, which was like grungy greens, neutrals, that kind of thing. I didn't try Be Perfect because I've heard not the best things about their metallics. So I was like, I don't know if I want to buy this big ass palette just not to like metallics in it. And also, the other problem is their palettes are flipping huge, and I just don't want a palette that big in my collection. I think I would be overwhelmed with the amount of eyeshadows in those palettes. Like, I wouldn't know where to begin. Like, I'm okay with larger palettes, but not that big, you know? So for that reason, I just haven't tried Be Perfect. If they release like smaller palettes, maybe I would consider trying the brand. But for now, man, those palettes are just way too big. I'm just not interested at all. Their color stories look nice, but a lot of their palettes are just like different versions of rainbow palettes, and they have a lot of shades that are kind of similar or like repeating. And I just don't understand why they don't curate their palettes down a little bit so they're a smaller size and maybe less expensive and all of that. But for now, Be Perfect is not really a brand on my radar. So another brand I wanted to try in 2021, and I did try them, was Sydney Grace. So I, in particular, mentioned the Temptalia palettes. They were being sneak peeked at this time last year. And as you all probably know, they were released in 2021, and I own all three of the light versions. So in case you're not aware, this is the Quintessence, I believe, light version. And then we have the Radiant Reflection light version. And then last but not least, on the Horizon light version. So these palettes are good. I brought these when I went on vacation in July to New York to visit my grandmother because I was like, I just got these in the mail. They're, you know, there's a lot of different colors in here, and I really wanted to test them out. So I had them with me on that vacation for like a week and a half. These were the only palettes I used. And from there, I realized I like them, but I don't love them. Like, the color stories are nice, but they're just not exactly what I'm looking for. I don't know. Like, like the mattes are nice, but they're not perfect for me. The metallics are nice, but they're not nearly as like sparkly, shiny, wet, PC metallic that I'm looking for. And I just feel like the color stories, a lot of them are very metallic heavy, and there's just not enough mattes in here for me to like create the kind of looks that I want to. So I do like these. I just don't really reach for them a lot because there's other palettes that I prefer to reach for. I need to reach for these more, but if I don't reach for these within, I don't know, the next like 6 months, I might declutter these because I just don't find myself reaching for them. And Sydney Grace just is not my favorite eyeshadow formula. So for that reason, unless they release a color story I really, really, really love, I don't see myself purchasing eyeshadows from them again, to be completely frank. I know that's an unpopular opinion. And I know a lot of you probably love Sydney Grace, but they're just not for me, and that's okay. So yeah, these are good. I just don't like, I didn't fall in love with them like I thought I was going to, and that was really disappointing. And I never even released videos on these because I just couldn't find the motivation to like sit down and film with these. I don't know why. So yeah, these are good, but they're not great. Let's talk about a brand that I did try and did really enjoy in 2021. That is Adept Cosmetics. I have the Ninhydrin palette, which they released this year, and this is just full of beautiful metallics and some mattes. And then I also have the Plain Jane, which they released in 2020, I believe, but I got this in 2021. So overall, I love Adept's metallic formula, and I think that, you know, they're very wet, they're very shiny, they're very sparkly. They're just absolutely gorgeous and a pleasure to work with. Like today I'm wearing the Plain Jane in my inner corner and also my brow bone. I love the pop of sparkle and beautifulness that it gives me. So I really do love these palettes. They have released more. I just haven't purchased them because the color stories didn't really appeal to me. But I do think Adept has a wonderful metallic formula. Their ACI formula is really, really good. So I really like it. And yeah, I'm happy I tried Adept this year. And I would purchase more eyeshadows from them, definitely. And lastly, Copacetic Cosmetics. So this was a brand I talked about last year that I wanted to try. I mentioned their collab with M. Jones and how I thought it was a really pretty palette. I didn't purchase anything from Copacetic. I don't know why. Again, I don't think any of their like releases this year were super attractive to me. Like they're known for like iridescent, sparkly, shifty kind of eyeshadows, which I love, but I have so many of those in my collection now, especially like my iridescent chameleons from Terra Moons, which are holy grails in my collection, that I just don't know if I really see the need to buy from Copacetic. Again, I keep my eyes out on their Instagram to see if they release anything that I love, but nothing is just really called out to me, so I haven't purchased from them. So that is it for today's video. If you're curious, last year I spoke about 14 different brands and I tried 9 out of 14. So that's a total of 64%, which isn't, it isn't passing, but it isn't bad. I'm glad I purchased things that I was, genuinely interested in and passionate about. I'm glad I didn't force myself to purchase products from these brands that I had on this list. Because if I did, then I probably wouldn't have used those products and liked those products. So I'm perfectly fine with 9 out of 14. It's just, I didn't even keep track throughout the year of the brands I had on this list. I just purchased what I thought I wanted to try and what I thought was attractive to my eye, and I think that turned out pretty well for me. So that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. If you like this video, please like this video. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm, and it also helps me know what kinds of content you like to see on my channel. If you like me, please subscribe. I post 2 to 3 times a week, and I'd love to have you all here. And if you have anything to comment down below about any of these products I spoke about, any of these brands, anything like that at all, please let me know. I'd love to have a chat with you. And with that, thank you for spending part of your day with me, and I will see you all next time. Bye!